Hello everyone and welcome to my Hip Hop Gossip For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Young Thug wants to work with Future and Drake more often. Despite being incarcerated, Young Thug remains one of the most significant figures in the hip-hop scene. He appeared to declare a truce between Future, Metro Boomin, and Drake on Friday afternoon, which rocked the internet. Drake, Future, Metro Boomin, we all bruddas, he wrote in a recent post. Without us working together, music wouldn't be the same. Future reposted the post right away on the program that was originally known as Twitter. Supporters began to question whether this would be sufficient to end the erstwhile collaborators' Cold War. Does not like us lose any of its heat if any of the named people return to working with Drake like nothing happened, said one admirer. I'd argue Drake bricking for 6 months straight before being forced to return to Atlanta proves the point, said another person. It's impossible to predict whether this will result in the parties getting back together. Drake and Future have continuously called out their way too sexy co-star since Young Thug was imprisoned. The God's Plan MC claimed earlier this month that he placed money on Thug's books while watching the well-reported YSL trial. Future said, I'm just a street and **** GA, just rap pin, my day ones went fed, in a recent feature. I won't be shocked if you die because you begged for my muck. I need to take my medication because I've been acting slack in the trap. A lot of followers thought that these bars on ASAP Ferg supported Young Thug by directing his new song, Allure, at Ghana. Drake has not yet replied to the tweet, but considering his track record of interaction, a subdued reply is probably on the horizon. The self-described Petty King is well known for his subtle, passive-aggressive remarks. He recently went viral after sharing his opinions about old pals who took advantage of him to advance in their careers at Toronto's Nostalgia. After a dramatic confrontation with the judge, the lawyer for Young Thug finds out the outcome of the appeal. In June 2024, Young Thug's attorney was found in contempt by Judge Ural Glanville, who was compelled to recuse himself from the YSL RICO trial. On Tuesday, the Georgia Supreme Court overturned a judge's contentious ruling to find Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele in contempt. Judge Ural Glanville's conduct, according to the justices, denied Steele due process in the courtroom debate that shook the YSL RICO trial. Steele was entitled to additional process because the trial court delayed the announcement of a specific punishment, the Georgia Supreme Court stated. He was specifically entitled to have a different judge hear the case. Steele repeatedly disregarded Judge Glanville's explicit orders, which was disrespectful to the judge. It is evident from the conversation between Steele and Judge Glanville that Judge Glanville was a party to the dispute. For these reasons, the contempt hearing ought to have been presided over by a different judge, and its outcome needs to be overturned. For failing to disclose how the lawyer found out about the judge's covert meeting with a witness during Young Thug's trial, Steele was found in contempt by Judge Glanville last June. Steele was given a 10-week jail sentence by the judge, but it was put on hold while Steele appealed. Steele's appeal lawyer, Ashley Merchant, took to social media to celebrate their win. The Supreme Court overturns Brian Steele's contempt. Justice has won, she wrote. Working with this group of some of the best solicitors in the nation to represent one of our best, Brian Steele, was an amazing honor for me. Cheers to justice. The majority of Young Thug's drawn-out trial was presided over by Judge Glanville, but the judge was dismissed as a result of June's altercation with Steele. In July, Young Thug's motion to disqualify/recuse Judge Glanville was approved by Judge Rachel Krause. If the recusal motions were rejected, Judge Krause declared, this court has no doubt that Judge Glanville can and would continue presiding fairly over this matter, but the necessity of preserving the public's confidence in the judicial system weighs in favor of excusing Judge Glanville from further handling of this case. Young Thug's trial, which began in 2023 but is still ongoing, was finally taken over by Judge Paige Reese Whitaker. Since being arrested in 2022, Young Thug has stayed behind bars. The Georgia Supreme Court overturned a Young Thug lawyer's contempt charge. The Georgia Supreme Court has ruled that Brian Steele, the lawyer for Young Thug, will no longer be subject to a contempt of court order. The Georgia Supreme Court ruled on Tuesday to reverse the Steele judgment. When the attorney addressed then-Judge Ural Glanville during Thug's RICO trial in June regarding a rumored private conversation that took place between Glanville, prosecutors, and one of the state's key witnesses that morning, Glanville was found in contempt. Steele was taken from the courtroom after refusing to disclose his source when the judge asked him how he found out about the meeting. Before ordering courtroom deputies to arrest Steele, Glanville told him, "You got some information you shouldn't have gotten." Steele was given a 20-day jail sentence at first, but he was eventually released on bond while his appeal was pending, preventing him from going to jail. The lawyer was entitled to have the matter heard by a different judge, according to the appeal ruling in Steele's favor. It is evident from the conversation between Steele and Judge Glanville that Judge Glanville was a party to the dispute. Reversal is necessary because the contempt proceeding should have been presided over by a different judge for these reasons. As previously stated, Brian Steele's argument with Judge Glanville started when the lawyer learned of a confidential meeting between the judge, the prosecution, and a witness. In reference to Kenneth Copeland, who was imprisoned for the weekend after declining to appear on Friday despite having an immunity agreement that depends on his testimony, Steele informed the judge that he is not supposed to have communication with a witness who's been sworn. In a dramatic sequence captured on a courtroom webcast, Steele refused to tell the judge who had informed him about the meeting, and the judge had the lawyer jailed. Just by identifying the person who provided you with that information, you can get rid of that disdain. Glanville told Steele, who declined to give names out of a duty of confidentiality, "That's all I need to know." Despite being incarcerated, Young Thug remains one of the most significant figures in the hip-hop scene. He appeared to declare a truce between Future, Metro Boomin, and Drake on Friday afternoon, which rocked the internet. Drake has not yet replied to the tweet, but considering his track record of interaction, a subdued reply is probably on the horizon. The self-described Petty King is well known for his subtle, passive-aggressive remarks. He recently went viral after sharing his opinions about old pals who took advantage of him to advance in their careers at Toronto's Nostalgia.